Hello and welcome to Hey, I Loved That Movie, the podcast where we rewatch the films we loved when we were younger to see if they still hold up. I'm Dan.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Helena.
And for this episode, we watched Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief.
I think you cut off, so all I heard was Percy Jackson and the Lightning.
Percy.
No, I
Percy
believe
Jackson
you. But Percy
Percy-
Jackson and the Lightning sounds like a pretty cool band.
Percy
Yeah.
Jackson and the lighting.
And
He
lighting.
is a interior decorator that focuses entirely on the lighting.
There's a
different
lighting
to-
shop in King's Heath.
Wow, different to Percy Jackson and the cupboards.
Yeah. Percy Jackson's kitchen and bathrooms.
Yeah, Percy Jackson and the lightning and the witch in the wardrobe.
So I remember this film coming out. I don't think I'd read the books. Had you guys read the books?
No.
'Cause
No,
they
I
were very
hadn't read them.
popular.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
no, I
didn't
remember
read
they
them,
were
but I
really
remember this
popular.
film coming out, and I quite enjoyed it at the time.
I think I thought it was fine. But what I find quite weird about this is that because I've not read the book, I don't know how different the book is.
I've heard
My-
it's very different.
You know, when I
Yeah.
was doing work experience at a primary school,
Yeah.
this was the book they were reading. Like the teacher would read to them at reading time. They were-
Oh.
And I'm just like, okay. And then part of me was like, well, actually, I guess it does make sense because it's
It's Greek mythology.
Greek mythology, but it's teenagers. But they do not act like, oh god, it's so weird. Like the characterization in this film is so bizarre, and I can only assume that hopefully they're a bit more developed in the book. But in this, it's just like they're just sort of blobs that do plot. They don't have their own sort of characteristics or features.
100%.
No, apparently the author of the books absolutely hates this movie. He was like, it's like seeing my life's work going to a meat grinder, and he was like, the actors are all fine, but the script is atrocious.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that's
But
just
he's
trying to be
actually
nice
helped
to the
work-
kid actors
yeah.
because they were not good.
I mean, Pierce Brosnan was I just want to ask a quick question though. Are
Okay.
you two? So you know when you're a kid and like every kid has that like weird obsessive period. Did you guys ever had Greek? Were you guys the Greek mythology kids?
Nah, I'm an Egypt kid.
You're an Egypt kid, right? There's Greek mythology kids, dinosaur kids, and Egypt kids.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get two.
I was a Greek mythology kid in that one of the books I had as a kid that I used to read before bed was 101 Greek myth.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
very much part. I think I mentioned this when we had Gabe on the show, and we were talking about Greek myths when we were talking about Helen. We watched.
Oh yeah, with Troy.
Troy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that book, and it was a very gentle, sort of toned down. At least
Version.
I don't remember being traumatized by it, so I imagine it must have been toned down version of all these Greek myths. But because there were 101 of them, and I read them all, like I don't really remember the specifics. I sort of remember some of them as like Narcissus, like looking at himself in the water and falling in, trying to kiss the water and drowning,
Yeah.
and like that kind of thing. Like there was still death in it, but it was interesting, and like I sort of knew a little bit, but I wasn't like I didn't have like an obsessive period about Greek mythology itself. Not in the same way that like my cousin had a weird like Egyptian phase. I'm not sure how intense yours was, Dan, but she like learnt hieroglyphs and stuff.
I think when I was in like year 6 I did, but that was because that was like part of the lessons and then immediately forgot them. I think I wrote my name in hieroglyphs and that was it.
She had a whole, and I'm sure I don't want to embarrass her. I mean, I can only assume that she and the rest of my extended family listen to the podcast. That I have not told them about. But she was properly obsessed, and then I think it probably became kind of annoying in that then she just got Egyptian themed gifts for like Christmas
Yeah.
and birthdays
Yeah.
from everyone for
don't-
ages, and I hope that killed it off because as far as I'm aware, she's now the instructor in Canada, I think.
Incredible.
The opposite of
Which is very much the opposite of
Egypt. Far away from-
Egyptologist.
I mean, you could ski down the pyramids. It's just very difficult.
You'd probably get told off. And I think they're a
security
bit
guards.
bumpier than they look from the distance.
The
It
police
depends.
keep
like,
getting in the
if
way.
If Lara Croft can ride a motorbike down the Great Wall of China, you can ski down a pyramid.
That film was a lie.
I just wanted to know because I wanted to know what your like weird childhood obsession thing was. Because I was a Greek mythos kid. I was a dinosaur kid, and then I was a Greek mythology kid.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember can't even remember what class it was for, but we had like a assignment to make a report on Greek mythology, and I think it was only meant to be like they only really wanted a couple of pages and some pictures, and I did like a full folder full of like different mythologies and who wrote them, and like I'd like hand drew a load of like the monsters and everything.
Wow.
I was really young, but I did like a full like dissertation sized
Was
report.
that like was that like a summer holiday project or something?
I don't know. I think it was something they gave us to do like over the whole term.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
I went ham on a holiday project one year, but it was on the Museum of Front Rooms. And it's just like, what a fucking boring kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just that just kind of unlocked a memory of I think I was in like year 7 history class, and we were learning about Roman stuff, and all the kids had to make a Roman shield.
Yeah.
And I made it out of fucking metal.
Yeah.
Like I went full on and made a proper
like
one, and it looked amazing. And everyone else had their fucking shitty cardboard things,
Ah.
and I just had an actual sheet of metal.
The teachers are like, we did not put this in the health and safety form. We should have done this in the risk assessment.
Yeah, it's a
We
good job
always
they
know
didn't make us
there's
make swords.
Yeah.
There was also the time, like slight tangent, but you know when you've like made something for history class and you're trying to make it look old,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and so like you dab the tea bags on it, you burn the edges, and then I accidentally set fire to my whole work. Luckily, it had been typed up, which doesn't make sense for a historical document, but
no.
still.
Did you
Like-
did you type it up in using papyrus
Probably.
Yeah.
So
or black?
I just reprinted it out. It's fine.
Blackadder, ITC.
No, it's-
Yeah.
Times New Roman. It's
Times New
clearly
Roman.
got Roman in
Yeah.
the title. That's how they wrote.
Those school projects were fucking weird when you think about them.
It's something.
Yeah,
to...
I'm pretty sure I made a huge diorama of the movie The Kingdom of Heaven, which I don't think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
For like Ari. Of like, I had to make like some sort of like weird like battle of some god thing. I don't know.
Why?
Like, I have vague memories of this.
Yeah. Why were we taught about Greek mythology as like in?
Because
It
it's
wasn't
sick.
even in history, but it's not even in like history way we weren't taught it. It was in like RE studies.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was always in history. We did, you do the Romans and the
Oh, no, we did,
ancient
like-
Greeks and Romans, and then you sort of do Celts and
Yeah. No, we did like the actual people in history, but I think in some of the religious studies classes, we just did mythologies.
That's cool.
So the teacher was like, do Greek mythology.
I feel like you had a very atheist teacher or like
Yeah,
agnostic
there's only
teacher
so
in that
much you
that
can
was
talk
like.
about.
So
Yeah.
we had like devout. I remember I think this was a bit later in school actually, but we had like quite a overtly Christian RE teacher, which I always thought was like a bit biased.
Weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were always taught like, here is this is Christianity, and then here are the other religions, and you have to learn about them to like, make an informed choice and understand other cultures. And it wasn't ever like these religions are bad, but it was always like, and this is what
This is
other
the
people
right-
believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Whereas
This
it
is
was
the
very
right.
much like that
Christianity
in
was
my
very
school
much
as
taught as
well.
like, this is what I believe.
They're like, here's Christianity, now go to assembly and sing all your little god songs about this shit too.
Yeah. I think my RE teacher was had the thought process of it was his job to teach the kids to not be racist and like to not be xenophobic. So he put a lot of effort into, from the way I remember it, he put a lot of effort into like normalizing other religions.
Oh, cool.
And he did a lot of, and like thinking back, it must have been entirely on his own money, because there's no, like, he did a load of things where we'd learn about a religion and then he'd go and get someone to make and bring in the like traditional food from that religion.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's
And
quite cool.
he'd like fully explain all of like because food is like the ultimate way to get kids to pay attention to something and learn about something.
Yeah, food and toys.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what he'd do. He'd go and
Yeah.
get the things and like And it was really sick. And now I'm thinking back, I'm like, he put so much effort into, and must have gone out on his own and found those things.
Yeah, we had one kid in my year when I was in primary school. I think we were in year 4 or year 3, and his mum came to talk to us. Oh my goodness, sorry, a huge spider just came in through the window. Oh my god, and then it went back out again. But oh my god, it must have been 3 inches across.
He's just like, oh, sorry, you're recording. Sorry, I'll go. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm not normally scared of spiders, and we have a lot of spiders in the house, but they're normally standard house spider size.
It's when you're not expecting to see them that they make you jump.
And it's when they're moving as well.
Yeah.
Oh god, sorry. I'm not scared of spiders. I'm not scared of spiders. That window is shut tonight. I don't care that we're in the middle of a heat wave. Oh my god, sorry. You guys keep talking while the adrenaline wears off.
Yeah. So I was a Greek mythology kid.
Yeah.
And like, yeah.
Did you guys play? Oh, sorry.
Strange. No, you go ahead.
Did you guys play Age of Mythology? Did you have that game?
No, I never played that.
Oh, fair. I was going to say, like, if you were
Played
a
Age of
little
Empires.
Greek nerd, then
I played Age of Empires. I played
I played Age of Empires 1 and 3.
I think I mainly played. It might have been 3. I don't remember. I just kept spawning monster trucks when I got bored.
I think
Is that
played
Tuck?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's. I think that's Emperorship of Empires 3.
I think I played 2 because my main tactic was to spawn a load of villagers and enough villagers to be able to take over another kingdom with just villagers.
Yeah, that's hard.
No.
The villagers and monks is all you need. Because the monks would go, oh, yo, and turn the enemy into your team.
Oh,
you mean like Abe's Odyssey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what they do. They find an enemy thing and go, lo, and then they'd be your color, your team colors.
Yeah. See, I like a lot more recently, but a couple of the newer Assassin's Creed, like Origins and then Odyssey, they were Egyptian and then Greek themed, but they had these modes where you could go in and there's no enemies or anything. You just wander around and it has like lessons about all the things. And I was like, this is really interesting. I spent like ages doing that.
Oh, nice. That's like a really nice high-tech version of this diabolical game I had as a education game I had as a kid. And we were very limited in what video games we had with our first computer because it was a Mac, which is something that, hasn't changed massively. There's a reason why Dan's not into computer games.
Yeah, because I am still using this Mac right now.
But yeah, the Mac, I remember we were really limited. I had some DK book games.
Right.
Donkey Kong.
And one of them was like the World Explorer.
Yeah, Donkey Kong.
Yeah, not Donkey
Kong World Explorer.
Yeah,
DK, the books, the publishers. They did like DK. Not fucking Donkey. I used to know what it was called, but it's
Donkey.
Dorling Kinsley.
Okay.
Eyewitness.
Didn't they see an accident or something? Sorry, this one is.
Why are you hating on DK? Honestly,
this whole episode.
Because it was just
I thought
immediately my head went to the Donkey Kong. Right?
Did you guys not have like random selections of DK books?
Yeah,
maybe.
I think I probably did. Yeah.
I know that Jim's a very big fan of DK Big Cats.
DK Big Cat sounds like a DJ name.
DK Big Cats in the house.
That was like a
Yeah, we had these games, and one of them was the World Explorer, which you could it was a point and click, like activity based educational game. It was fine. There was some little mini games, but I would not describe it. I would describe it as fun if computers are still a novel concept.
Good old fashioned edutainment.
Yes.
So you had the Stormbreaker from the movie Stormbreaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets you infected with virus.
Yeah. Thankfully, this one didn't try and give me smallpox. But we had the World Explorer, and then we also had like the History Explorer one, and that you did go back into ancient Rome and ancient Greece, and it was. I actually remember these really fondly, even though I think objectively not very good. They were like, so I knew a lot about Roman history and Greek history because civilian building and that kind of side of it from those games.
Yeah, we're all slightly too old for horrible histories, aren't we?
I had the books. I had the books. I just never went to the TV show because I was like, "What's the point? I've read all the books. I know all of the history.
When
I know history.
A cartoon.
What's the point in going to history classes? I know it all."
Yeah, do you guys remember like before it was live action when it was a cartoon? Like that's how I remember horrible histories, and like the books were all annotated with like cartoons and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I just read the books. We had almost all of the books, and I've read. They were my brothers, so I'd sort of read some of them and not all of them. And then the spin-offs, it was like horrible geography, and I'm like, fuck off.
Horrible maths. Like that's just maths.
Yeah. No, the horrible science ones were pretty cool because it was like, radiation. Let's talk about it. And I'm like, but yeah, horrible histories. Yeah, I think I know people who enjoyed it, but they all had like younger siblings.
Yeah, like they seem like a really good thing, like a really good TV series.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And one film with what's her name, Kate Nash in.
That film has like everyone in it. I think I've seen about half an hour of it because it was on TV once.
Is it Kate? Yeah, it's Kate Nash. Kate Nash plays Boudica.
Cool.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure it's Kate Nash that plays Boudica. It was really. I was like, I'm gonna watch it because I've got nothing else to do. It's fucking strange, that film.
Yeah, it's weird when you've got like a big name actor play a weird side Greek villain.
No, this wasn't like. Yeah, no, that's true. That was strange in this film. We should probably talk about the. No, I want to talk about horrible histories.
None of us want to talk about this film. This film was just bad, wasn't it?
Talk about
it was fine.
No, it wasn't fine.
Why would you put Kate Nash?
It was awful.
Why would you put Kate Nash in a feature film about horrible histories? Now, like it was made in 2019.
Yeah,
that's
it was
weird.
Really recent. Yeah,
she's not like that. But she hasn't produced music no, she produced like an off thing, but like she hasn't been mainstream for a while, and she's not even an actress, so like it wasn't a good role. Anyway, let's talk about Percy Jackson.
So I have a question.
I didn't realize how much of that had been on my chest until I started talking about.
I have a question for you, Dan.
Yep.
What in this film was fine or good?
It was all right.
No, but
what
specific
was all right?
Was it? In what way?
Like,
I can tell you, it was.
I liked the bit where they were very obviously in Medusa's garden. It's like, are you fucking dumb?
Yes, they are. Throughout the rest of the film,
yes,
make that
all the characters in this are terrible.
Clear.
Yeah, I liked the like the idea of the casino bit where it's like, oh yeah, you've been in here for days because they keep giving you this fucked stuff.
The casino bit was great. You got to listen to Cash's right round.
Didn't like how both characters in this who had disabilities were actually not disabled. They were actually just weird monsters.
How dare you?
Like, you know, you've got this guy, oh, he's on crutches. No, he's secretly just a satyr. But I did like how much that character clearly fucks.
Yes,
and everyone wants to fuck that character.
That's in the right lane of a satyr. If anything, it's a toned-down version of a satyr.
No, exactly. Like that makes sense for the character. But yeah, also Pierce Brosnan's in a wheelchair, but that's because he's actually a centaur. But yeah, no, like it was fine. It reminded me of like a couple of other books of the same kind of same vein as this that I've read, I guess. You know, the typical, oh, this kid in school is actually secretly special, but there's some ancient thing and blah 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 blah. Oh look, yep, they're powerful.
This era of young adult. Before it became about a post-apocalyptic awful world where everyone wants to kill each other, young adult novel.
Yeah,
that's
but when it was
slightly
like,
later.
Fun fantasy. Yeah,
when it was this kid's actually secretly the child of a god.
Yeah,
that era of young adult book.
Yeah, he's the child of a god, and his mom
book.
is from the 4-year-old virgin, and he's like it was very. I don't know. It was all right. Like I didn't have too bad of a time watching it, but then again, I have not read the books or anything. So
it was no horrible histories, Rotten Romans film starring Kate. No, it's not even starring. She's just in it. Yeah,
so we've got Logan Lerman.
Yep.
As Percy Jackson. He's fine. He has iconic for the time hair.
Yep.
I will say.
Yep.
And then Annabeth, which I'm like,
Yeah.
that doesn't sound like a Greek mythology name.
No,
But whatever.
They should have just gone with, the actress's name of Alexandra. Much better.
Alexandra Daddario,
yeah.
which is a brilliant.
It's an amazing name. I fully convinced myself that this was the girl from Spy Kids.
Huh.
I fully convinced myself that was the actress playing in this film. I don't know why, but in my head, until I saw her, I was like, "Oh no, it's not her." Don't know why.
I was gonna say,
this isn't Spy Kids 3.
She's very pretty as a person. In this film, she looks quite generic.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's...
Oh yeah, she's in Baywatch. She's really good in Baywatch.
Yeah, no, the script is not where... The actress is not the problem.
Yeah,
this film does feel like it's saying Lois and Lerman to be teenage heartthrob that never was. Again, we got another one.
Well, it's like they want this to be... This has the Stormbreaker issue of they want to set up...
A franchise.
They want to set up the franchise, so they are whistling through as much of the early plot as they can get.
Yeah.
Without consideration that, a little bit of character development would be nice.
Yeah.
This film is so fast.
Yeah, he finds out that he can go to this weird camp incredibly quickly.
And then he gets to the camp and he's there for 5 minutes, and then he's like, no, I've got to go save my mum.
Yeah,
and then he's like, okay,
and
she's like, oh, how do we get there? And it's like, oh, well, I know a guy who can help us. It's one of the other guys. His dad's Hermes, and it's like, cool. He's introduced.
Well, he's in charge of the camp. He's the leader of the camp.
Yeah, they have that weird capture the flag thing where everyone's really distracted by the fight and no one captures the flag.
Yeah, he gets beaten up by the girly fancies.
Yeah,
and then he goes to the water.
And it washes away his special effects makeup of
It
injuries.
makes him real strong.
Because he is the son of Poseidon, secretly.
The son of Poseidon. Which, by the way, when they say, oh, it's really rare that you get a son of the big three being Poseidon, Zeus, and Hades. I'm sorry, but from what I remember, Zeus fucked everything that moved.
Zeus fucks, yeah.
Anything. He was a goose at one point. I swear he pretended to be a swan or a goose and had sex with a woman. Mm-hmm. My man, Zeus would have so many kids.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that's how the Minotaur came about, was because Zeus
fucked a cow or something.
Couldn't keep it in his fucking pants. I'm pretty sure that's how the Minotaur happened.
Most of this movie happened because gods fuck.
Yeah.
But it's just so... The whole of him finding out that his dad is Poseidon could have been a movie. It's very rare that you have a you have a teen film where you're like, they didn't stretch it out enough.
Yeah.
Normally you're like, Christ, just get to the
enough.
They didn't Hunger Games it where they made 4 films out of 3 books with one plot.
Yeah.
And they didn't, Divergent, which just goodness me.
That's never no one ever wants to talk about Divergent.
But this film it's too fast.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
and
so much happens.
It's like this could have been a 2-parter.
Yeah.
And a little bit more of him at the camp. A little bit more of his family life, because we get so little of every character, including the main character. We don't know him.
His family life is really interesting as well.
Yeah, because he's single mum, and then she's with a nasty partner, and we find out, she's only with him because he stinks.
Yeah.
Enough to cover up his half god blood smell, so that's why they haven't found him yet.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, but they never actually go into why he stays with his mum when he could have been at the camp and been safe there, or why he's only introduced at the last possible minute. Like, they don't explain why couldn't she fall in love? Why couldn't they set her up with a nice fisherman?
Yeah,
or something
or
like that.
Explain this is I lost my train of thought. Yeah.
Why does he only get to find out when he's younger? Because it's not like a rule that they're not allowed to know until they find out naturally. Because loads of them have been raised there and have been at Camp Half-Blood.
Like she says she's never actually left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she was born.
Like it doesn't seem to be a problem that these gods have kids, and they only come round to him finding out because someone stole a lightning bolt.
Yeah.
And they're blaming him.
Yeah.
Because again, he's one of the big three, and it's kind of set up that he's the only one of the big three.
Yeah.
So that makes him especially powerful.
It's
strange.
It's a weird setup, and I can only hope that it's explained better in the books. But then we have this whistle-stop tour, so it's immediately like we find out he's about his home life. We're introduced to the main character. He goes on this tour trip to a museum, which is a fine setup, and then he's attacked in the museum that bit was actually, I mean, this was one bit that I actually enjoyed, was how the creepy museum lady turns into a fury.
Well, she's a teacher. She's like
teacher.
infiltrated things like an English teacher. Which, by the way, they set up that like he's dyslexic, but not actually. He just can only read ancient Greek.
He reads, his brain's hardwired for ancient Greek, so he can't. That's why he can't read English good. Yeah, real dumb. Like,
which would it would make sense if it was laid out better instead of in this where he just sees them a bit wibbly.
Yeah, and like he can read the ancient Greek on the walls.
Yeah.
Which means he gets the answer right to a question about who, like, can you name another demigod? And it's like, he just sees Percy Perseus written on the wall and he says Perseus.
Yeah.
And the teacher's like, you've got something very in common with them. And it's like, literally anyone in the room could have answered that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not. He's an idiot.
Like, ancient Greek isn't like a massively different alphabet to us.
He must fucking love going to, like, American college towns. He's like, oh yeah, I can read this.
You can read the 3 letters that they use.
Yeah.
Percy Jackson is an idiot.
Yeah.
Right? Like, at no point is he shown to have any kind of intelligence.
And he's just he's a bumbling fool in this film.
Yeah.
And it's like, the adult, the grown-ups in this film, which, to be fair, is a bit weird because it's Pierce Brosnan as a centaur.
Yep.
Which is why he's in a wheelchair. But then I'm like, how do his legs fit in the wheelchair?
They fold up.
They don't. It's just magic, I guess.
But then why can't they magic him to have legs?
Yeah.
Why? Like, yeah, it's so strange. It's like, it's one of those tokenisms where it's like, but it's cool to have someone in a wheelchair in a film because we're inclusive. And it's like, not if they're actually a centaur.
And then we have to watch weird animated top half of Pierce Brosnan for the rest of the film.
Mm.
Yeah.
Also, the pen sword is pretty great.
Pen sword?
Yeah.
Pen sword is cool. But yeah, the teacher turns into a fury and tries to kill him and is like, you have the lightning. And he's like, I don't know what the fuck. He has only time he has an appropriate reaction to anything is then. Because he's like, the fuck was that? I'm Alicia.
Yeah, that bit was actually quite, I don't want to say good acting, but it was like the most believable part where he was just like, oh my god, I need to take medicine. I'm going crazy.
But then they get swept off to Camp Half-Blood. They're chased by a Minotaur. His mum can't come in because she's human. The Minotaur
and she
takes
gets
her
disappeared
away.
by the Minotaur.
Yeah. Gets taken away.
One thing I just want to talk about in the museum before we move on. The statues look like the actors. So it opens with Zeus and Poseidon, so we see what they look like. P.S. Zeus is Sean Beam, so I was kind of ready for him to die the whole time, but he doesn't.
Mm-hmm. This is the only film where he doesn't die.
But they've obviously modelled the statues in this museum on them, and it's not necessary, but it just tickled me a little bit because it's so like just to really help people remember who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These gods, when they meet up right at the start, they look so rough. And they're dressed so, like, bad. They just look like a two pair of, like, middle-aged divorcees. Chatting to each other.
They've got to blend in.
I also liked, on the way to Camp Half-Blood, the Minotaur, like, yeets a cow at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
But yeah, they get to Camp Half-Blood.
He has
and
a single day of training.
Well, not even that. Like, they get there. He doesn't know who he's the kid of. He just knows he's the kid of a god. Like that. Yeah. He's worked that out. He's not that stupid. And then he doesn't know which one he is, and bloody blah. And then they show him around, and they're like, "Oh, he's the son of Thingy and Poseidon." No, they say like who everyone, and like she's the daughter of what's her name? Goddess of strategy.
Is it Athena?
Athena.
No, I thought she was the god of love, goddess of love.
No. There's just a group of daughters of Aphrodite. Yeah. By the way, do you reckon they have all of the weird Greek gods, like the god of doorstops, and like the god of hearts? But yeah, and then they take him to like his house that Poseidon had made for him when he gets to Camp Half-Blood, and he's looking around like, "Wow, this is cool," and it's got trident symbols everywhere, and then he goes,
Yeah, it's
"Oh,
very
I'm
obviously a
Poseidon's
Poseidon.
son." It's like, yes, fuck, you're an idiot. Dude, can you imagine?
He's like, oh, I can just hold my breath for a while. I just thought that was normal.
Can you imagine being in Camp Half-Blood and you're like, cool, I'm the god of the door guy. I look after door handles. I'm the demigod of door handles. And then you're like, oh yeah, you know that big like house on the lake up there? Yeah, that belongs to Poseidon's son. We don't know where he is.
Yeah, he's not got here yet. And it's like, well, can I stay there until
No.
he gets it? No.
No.
We don't know when he's coming. Even though we
No.
keep track of him.
Anyway, Hermes' son is in there playing video games.
And not delivering things on time.
I feel like Hermes is like the only reason people have heard of the messenger god.
Yeah. I like, yeah. But yeah, Hermes is set up as like a nice, cool guy. He's
a bit more realism. He's like, yeah, everyone's playing Ren Fair.
It's all chill. Yeah.
I think as a kid, I didn't know what a Ren Fair was. Like, that's such an American thing that that doesn't happen in the UK.
No. Well, no, because we just have actual history.
Yeah. And also LARPing, which is just a bit too niche for me, personally.
Like, it happens over here, but yeah, Ren Fairs, it feels too much like education. I feel like we have too much, like, it reminds us too much of school. Doing a Ren.
Yeah,
because
having
that's
to
the
dress
sort
up in...
Yeah, that's the sort of thing we did
did you guys
at school.
have a toga day at school? I remember we had a toga day when I was in year 2, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Just wore a bedsheet.
We had quite a few of them going through school. My school really liked the special dress-up days. We did, like, World War II, where you had to dress up as, like, a kid being evacuated.
I'm just an orphan.
I'm just being evacuated because they're going to blow up London.
Yeah, that was it. We had to do that. And then every teacher during lunch break was like, oh, you should get water and bread like they had, and every single fucking time. That was a joke they made every time. And then they did one where they said to dress up as king and queens from history. And my parents, being fucking geniuses, dressed me up as Elvis Presley.
Oh, that's pretty smart.
Fucking
my I'm bringing up my cousins again. But they, when they were really little, their local church had like a king and queen pageant. It must have been for some sort of jubilee.
Yeah.
And they went, but they obviously, my aunt is a staunch feminist.
Right.
And this is rubbed off on the girls because they went as every other girl there was in some sort of like princess dress.
Yeah.
And they went as Queen Elizabeth the second, and
Princess Diana.
No, the eyeliner lady.
Eyeliner lady.
We're like the opposite of royal. Oh, Cleopatra.
Thank you. Why could I not think of that? And like Cleopatra.
Of course, it was Dan, the Egypt kid.
Yeah, the Egypt nerd.
Well, I was just thinking, who the fuck are you on about? We are not royalists at all. And then I was like, hang on, no, you don't mean a royal.
Yeah, Charles III does not wear eyeliner, as far as I can tell.
No, but Prince Andrew probably does.
No, I'm not going to say it. No, I'm going to hold that one back.
Doesn't need waterproof eyeliner, though, does he?
No,
he doesn't sweat. It's a medical condition. If you had to dress up, like dressing up as a king and queen, go as Mary Queen of Scots, but like the later version.
It goes the Goblin King.
Brilliant. But then you are also advertising to the rest of your village that you've let your kid watch Labyrinth.
That's true.
I'm more thinking that I would probably get kicked out of the school.
Yeah. How fucking
because they'd be like, Dan, you're 30, what are you doing?
Yeah. Clever was it for my parents to be like, we'll dress you up as Elvis Presley. Because like, I just got to wear like a cool shirt all day.
Yeah.
Everyone else has uncomfortable in fucking handmade shit king and like Queen Elizabeth I clothes.
It's a shame I didn't have a dress up as a Roman day, or I'd have taken my shield.
Then like, you're not allowed to bring that in, Dan. We've been through this. Do you still have that shield?
No, it's long gone.
Got scrapped.
Yeah.
But anyway, Percy Jackson.
Yeah.
Percy Jackson. Fuck, this film's dull.
So he gets
I Hermes is
He's
like...
told by Hermes' son is like, we need, like, he's called Luke.
Luke, yeah.
Another great Greek.
Yep, incredible Greek name.
If we're going by Greek, it's clearly Luke.
Lucius?
Lucius would have been.
No, I'm more thinking, you know how they pronounce like Heracles and stuff like that.
Lucacles. But
Okay.
yeah, he should have. He's like, oh, you need to get, because they need to get.
Oh,
to
it would have been
hell.
Lucas in Greek mythology.
Yeah. But they need to go to hell.
Bionicles.
Oh, when you have twin boys, like Heracles and Bionicles.
The god of small toys. Demigod of Lego. But yeah.
God of swinging one arm with an axe.
God of frustratingly trying to click two parts together. Trying to get a ball joint into its socket. Yeah, Luke is like, you need to get to hell. She's probably in hell. The trapped wife of Hades leaves these pearls all over the world. Here's a map. Take this shield.
Yeah,
because
Persephone has been taken to Hades.
Yeah, she's trapped.
Isn't that? Yeah, like he's trapped her.
Yeah,
but she likes to fuck about, and
so she has
these pearls made that people can use to leave the underworld.
Yeah,
and like transport wherever they need to go. And there's only 3 in the United States, so I guess she doesn't like Americans very much.
Well, America is quite new. I'm surprised there were any there at all. I'm surprised that.
To be fair,
all of this is based in America. They're like, let's go to Mount Olympus at the top of the fucking Empire State Building.
We'll get to that, but they're on 3 ancient Greek myths monsters. Because he's like, go take this shield. Don't look at the shield. Take my favorite shield. Take these pair of flying Converse. By the way, I can't imagine how uncomfortable they are. That sounds awful. A flying pair of... Oh, you could tell the era it was made from. That aged it immediately.
Yeah.
Air Heelys.
Yeah.
And because they're Converse.
Yeah, aged it immediately. It'd be like, I mean, to be fair, flying docks would be hilarious. Flying Crocs would be even better.
Flying Crocs, fucking hell.
Put it into sport mode.
Yeah, it would be like, what would it be if it was made now, like Air Force Ones or something?
Yeah.
That's what the kids like, right?
Sure, I don't know. But yeah, he should get the flying shoes, take the shield, go, and then they get to the first one. Which, by the way, it sounds like we're speeding through this. We're not. This is about the pace the film goes at. They get to the first one, and it's in a garden centre.
Yeah, it's a garden centre full of statues, and they don't go, maybe this is Medusa,
No,
and then it's Uma Thurman.
Idiots.
Yeah, it sounds like that visit to the museum is their only knowledge of Greek myth.
Well, yeah, because he can't see anything. He can't read.
No.
He's been struggling through his entire school life, and they're just refusing to help him. If he can't read anything but ancient Greek, God, he's in trouble. They go there. To be fair, like every garden centre has a shit ton of statues.
Yeah.
Like
but it's normally like, it's gnomes doing mooning for some reason, or fishing, or like fairies like crying.
Yeah, that's depressing. But it would take me a second. It would take me a while to like be like, these aren't the normal garden centre statues.
But maybe the fact that the whole place is completely empty apart from the statues, you'd be like, I'm on this ancient Greek quest. Although I wouldn't assume that Medusa is in the middle of, what is it, Wyoming?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. I think as a kid I wouldn't have known this, because I don't really get, the size of America just is a bit inconceivable for a British kid.
Yeah.
But like these road trips they're going on, like they cover like a huge part of the states. Like they basically go all over.
Yeah, they go from New York to Vegas essentially
via Wyoming.
Yeah,
yeah,
and
or wherever it was.
And like in my head, I'm like, as a kid, I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. But as an adult, I'm like, no, that takes a while, and they're driving.
They travel really fast. But also, can we talk about who? Like, Uma Thurman is playing Medusa.
She does a good job.
Yeah, it was a surprise.
She is up there with every actor we've had play every like serious good actor that's played in any of the kids' film we've watched. She's up there with Glenn Close.
Yeah,
She's up there with...
She is, I think, because she's acting with a capital A, but despicably. It is.
Yeah.
She is a great villain
She's
in this.
she's gnawing on the scenery.
Yeah,
She's not.
absolutely.
She's making the scenery with her stone vision and then eating every statue. It's
and also having weird snake hair.
yeah, up there with
Tilly Swinton for Ice Queen.
Yeah,
Kind of level.
Up there with that. Up there with in Stormbreaker.
Yeah.
Mickey Rourke.
No. Oh yeah, Mickey Rourke as well, but also what's his name?
Blunt.
Yeah. What's
his name?
Oh, Bill Nighy.
Bill
Yeah,
Nighy.
Christ.
Although with Bill Nighy, it's that like insane, like quite good actor in a kid's role, just hamming it up.
Yeah.
Just taking the whole pig and hamming it up. Because she is 100, and it's great. It's amazing. And I wish, like, I want to see more of that in films where it's just like, how did you get this incredible actor? And why are they acting so badly? Yeah.
Anyway,
Sorry,
so my
just,
favourite bit,
Uma Thurman.
I just need to talk about the absolute best bit of this movie, which is using a classic iPod and the reflection in the back of it to see where Medusa
Oh, what a good bit of product placement was that?
Oh,
So
it was. I was expecting. I'd kind of forgotten that he slices her head off, and I was thinking that he makes her look in the reflection of the iPod and she turns to stone.
Yeah.
Sad that didn't happen. That would have been much funnier.
Yeah. Do you remember when the back of iPods were shiny for some reason?
Yeah.
Why was that? Because it would just steam up
Looked
with
cool.
like hand sweat.
Yeah. I also forgot that they, can't unstatuify people. So when that, random bystanders turned into a statue and then
Shattered.
Grover has to, smash its arm off to rescue Annabeth. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yep.
That woman comes back as a person.
Nah,
she's just good.
She's just dead. You can't de-statuify when
No.
Medusa or any of the Gorgons.
No.
Oh, sorry.
But anyway, they get the pearl from her, and then they go to
Vegas.
a replica of the Parthenon.
They also
built in Nashville.
They have to behead her. It's important that they behead.
her. Yeah.
And I just find that kind of staggering because they're not just. At the start, it's like they're part of Greek myth, but then they're altering Greek myth now, where they start killing off very famous Greek myths like Medusa. It's like, no.
Medusa has been around for thousands of years at this point.
You little shitcakes do not get to kill Medusa. You can outwit Medusa the once, maybe.
Isn't that?
But you don't get to chop her head off.
But
She's bigger than you are.
But isn't that the mainstream mythos of Medusa? Is that she gets beheaded?
Yeah. Is it?
I think they were just doing that because it's quite famous that you behead her, you use her head as a.
Yeah, because the eyes still
tool.
work. Yeah.
Because that's in
Oh yeah, because she knows that, doesn't she?
Yeah, that's in one of the myths.
Oh shit! Okay, I'm talking
also
out my
get
arse.
some-
It's fucking Perseus who kills her.
Yeah.
They also
Yeah, I
get
was
some
gonna
gold
say.
drachma there for
Perseus.
plot reasons in the future.
But also, I think the myth of Medusa and the Gorgons is so complicated because there are hundreds of different versions of them.
Yeah, exactly. They have to escape and try and get home, but then all the soldiers start attacking them. There's that kid, and then
Yeah, you also get the Gorgons where I think there's
There's
3
the brown
Gorgons or 4.
I don't know. I remember the main one.
Oh, the Hydras.
who wants
No,
to go
the
home.
Gorgons,
Oh,
the Medusa
Gorgons.
and her sisters,
Oh yeah.
and 2.
Oh, so you're not talking about small soldiers?
No.
Okay.
3 of them are. I think there's 3 of them. 2 of them are immortal, and Medusa is mortal, or she's made mortal by Athena. It's very but that's one of them. And
Yeah,
there's
that's a
hundreds
lot.
of myths, and they all have different parts of snakes. One of them has a snake body, and Medusa has the snake hair.
And the
It's
other
strange.
one's just a snake.
Yeah, the other one's just a normal snake, full snake.
Yeah.
No, it has snake hands. Yeah.
Yeah, so they behead Medusa.
Yeah.
Go on the run.
take the head.
They get seen, but they still manage to get to a recreation of the Parthenon, but in Nashville.
Yep.
And when they're on their way there, Grover's like, Nashville, the place of my least favourite music. So that means that Grover canonically hates Taylor Swift.
Correct.
Yeah.
Good. The one thing I agree with him.
And that was just like, oh, whatever, mate. Like, that's that's just a classic teenager thing of like, I must hate all genres except the genre I like the most.
Yeah.
All genres other than my taste are bad.
I mean, it was country music in 2010. It was probably bad.
Yeah, he better not be talking about Dolly Parton.
But yeah, anyway, so they hide in there in some toilets, and then there's a big statue of Athena, and it's got the pearl in its crown, and then they get it with the flying shoes, and then a Hydra attacks them, and then they turn it to stone.
And Percy
so that's that bit done.
Percy is not knowing his myth or miss Percy.
Yeah.
Percy not knowing his Greek myths.
Yeah, because he just beheads them, all of them, and he's like, you idiot.
Yeah. You dumb cunt.
And
what are you doing?
He didn't do the whole thing where he made a big folder of... Oh, that folder would have been so useful. That big document would have been so useful for the people in this film. They...
So now this place just has a giant statue of a Hydra in there out of nowhere.
That came out, just appeared overnight.
And they're like, oh shit, we're busted because the security guards come in, but oh no, it's just more Greek myth people trying to kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they form into the Hydra, like how the Hydra does in myth, where he's 8 guys formed
He's
together.
just some janitors, and then... But yeah, then they go from Nashville to Vegas.
Vegas, baby. Where they deal with the sirens.
Yeah, because they're like offered these lotus flowers and they eat them.
This bit was kind of fun.
I remember. This is like the main bit that I remembered from watching it before and being like, oh, that's a really cool concept of like actually being trapped in here.
Thing is, I know this better from like being ripped off in D&D.
Yeah. I really like this. Did I rip this off?
No, it was in a D&D is for Nerds thing.
Oh, right, yeah. I really like this. Like this concept for sirens. Because, like, Medusa's kind of not updated into, like, modern world. She just owns... I assume she owns that garden centre. Which we didn't even talk about. Like, does she sell things? How does it stay open?
She sells statues. She just has to keep the glasses on.
She's just this really cool, hip garden centre owner in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And the Hydras are just... It's just a Hydra. Just a Hydra. Yeah. I really like this update to sirens.
Yeah.
I like the way that works, and like that's not a good kudos on the film. I assume it's identical in the books and probably better.
Yeah, it's a good idea in the book that they managed to not ruin.
Yeah. Mainly because
most important part of this whole scene, though, Helena, what's the pinball machine like?
Oh shit! I did notice the pinball.
Was it era appropriate?
I need to look up PI DB.
You don't have to.
Because it was the French Connection one, because that's the point, is where this guy's just like, oh yeah, it's my favourite film of the year, and he thinks it's 1971.
Yeah.
Like, does that mean they don't have to eat or drink or anything when they're in the casino? They're just trapped there forever?
Eat and drink, because they eat those sweets.
Yeah, like they eat things, but like they don't age or anything. No. They're essentially
yeah, the French Connection pinball machine. I don't think I've ever played that.
I want to know what those little siren cookies are.
Yeah, the lotus flowers. For some reason, I thought they were going to be like like the sugar paper.
In my head, they're more like macaroons or macarons.
Yeah,
they're like soft and chewy.
I kind of, because it's lotus shaped. I sort of assumed they were like the like rice flour paste cakes that you get at New Year's.
Like a red bean paste kind of.
Yeah, red bean. Well, yeah, because they have the red bean paste in the middle.
Yeah.
I sort of assumed they were like that kind of texture, where it's like a sort of quite a gummy cake.
Yeah, that'd be nice though. I really want to try. We really don't want to talk about this film.
No, this film was diabolical. I had such a hard time getting through this film. Like that, I kept on pausing it to do literally anything else. And then I was like, no, you've got to sit down and just keep going.
Did you feel like you were stuck watching it for 5 days?
Oh god, yeah.
I was trying.
It's
really
just
hard.
not fun to watch because you're not there. You have so little time to connect with any of the characters that you don't care what happened. Like, I am not invested in Percy Jackson at all. I'm not invested in his mum. I don't care about Athena because all we've seen from her character is, oh, she's smart and he fancies her.
Yeah.
She's a good fighter. And it's like, why? Like, she's not explored at all. Like, where's the jealousy that he's got to experience the outside world? Where's the, like, I hate to use Harry Potter as an example, but obviously that's another one where you have, like, this guy that knows nothing about the world meeting other people who know a bit about the world. So you have, like, Hermione who's muggle born, but then you have Ron who's totally a wizard, and it's all about, you know, they sort of learning off each other's cultures and that.
Yeah.
At least is more interesting, whereas this, it's just like they're suddenly best friends who just get on with it.
Yeah, they're just like, okay, let's go on a road trip. I think it is, like, as far as I can tell, it is a lot better explored in the books, and I'm quite looking forward to the TV series which is coming out soon, because I imagine it will, you know, have time to flesh out the characters and
it has to be better
make
than
them
books.
Characters.
It can't be worse.
Yeah,
there's no way the book can be more sparse than this film.
Yeah, because the books are quite well loved as far as I'm
and there's
aware.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, after that they go to Hell, Hades to they go to Persephone to find his mum.
Get there via the Hollywood sign.
And Persephone's so horny.
It was awesome, yeah, and she's just like, oh damn, a satyr, I want to fuck a satyr. And then fucking Steve Coogan is Hades.
Yeah,
that was a bit like, huh? Okay.
Hamming it up. Eating every bit of scenery he can get hold of.
And it turns out the lightning bolt was hidden in the shield that Luke gave him.
Because Luke is the lightning thief.
And
you know this because he says the line. Yes. I'm the lightning thief.
There was anything that hinted towards that in the entire rest of the movie. Yeah.
But yeah, they escape Hell, the underworld.
They've only got 3 pearls and there's 4 people, and so Grover's like, I'm staying here, I'm gonna fuck Persephone.
And also, there's not, like, we haven't talked about him apart from obviously that he's a satyr, which they are DTF. But he reveals himself as Percy's protector.
Yeah.
And, like, wouldn't that be such a massive betrayal? It's like, oh, so you're not actually my best friend. Like, this is your job.
Yeah, that would be...
Yeah. Wouldn't there be some sort of dynamic change, like, shift there where you're like, so wait, like, we've just been hanging out this whole time because you have to take, like, you have to keep an eye on me. Like, you're not my friend.
Because Piers Brosnan
Because Piers Brosnan, the centaur, has told me to.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of betrayal to, like, he can process it in his own time. He doesn't have any time because this film is 1,000 miles an hour.
But yeah, so that also bothered me because I'd be so upset if you. Well, I think anyone would be upset if you found out. Like, I mean, Mikey's going to be gutted, Dan, when he finds out that we've been paid to do this podcast with him.
Oh no! How much are you being paid?
Wait, you're getting paid?
How much are you being paid? We can split it.
So.
I just want the money.
The satyr Grover is left with Persephone, and it's clear that they're going to get it on.
How did you even get the job?
But even that should have felt like it should have been a moment
for someone else
where he was great. Like, they're like, oh, we've only got 3 pearls, and now there's 4 of us because they can't count, and they should have worked that out on the way. One of them should have been like,
going to rescue the mum.
Yeah, we're getting 3 pearls, but there's only 4, but now there's going to be 4 of us to go back.
They're all idiots.
And then they're like, Percy's like, I'll go, and then no, like Athena's kid is like, no, Annabeth. Sorry, it's just such not a Greek name. Annabeth is like, no, I'll stay. And then the protector, Grover's like, no, I'm the protector. I'll have to stay. And you're like, but there's no real, like, I have to stay here forever. I'm going to die or, like, sacrifice in it. And they don't seem particularly anguished over it at all because they're not given time to.
Well, Grover is the least important person in this group.
There's also the bit of the yikes thing where he's, like, the wise black guy kind of thing coming in.
Oh, yeah. No, there's
which is just a bit like, oh, for goodness sake, like...
But yeah, the other 2 are demigods. He's a centaur, satyr.
Who are male nature spirits with a permanent exaggerated erection. People weren't aware,
horny.
Which is why we know they're DTF.
Wildly horny.
And his character is incredibly horny all the time too.
They're awful creatures. Never look at proper satyr or what else are they called?
Is it
Thorn. Never look up their actual mythos.
Silenus?
Yeah, never look up their actual mythos. They're involved with Pan, and Pan is wild.
Anyway, so Percy, Annabeth, and Percy's mum leave and end up on the Empire State Building, but then Luke's there as well, and they have a fight over the lightning bolt.
Go to Mount Olympus, and they end up in
and
New
this
York.
fight scene is terrible.
It is.
it's like wire work, and it's like, oh, they're two demigods fighting each other, but think they both got the stupid Hermes flying shoes on.
Yeah.
So it's so dumb.
It's so dumb.
But the white, like, it's one of those things that I guess maybe could have been cool, and like it's kind of thing you imagine that maybe like if it was a high budget, maybe post superhero movie things, like obviously we've got a lot better at flying
Like
now,
I'm sure
so like
was,
Iron Man level kind of
I'm
flying
sure
around the place
it was
would have been
kind of
okay.
cool at the time.
Oh, but it looks so janky, and like the
goofy.
wire, you can practically see the wires and that kind of.
Yeah.
It's
so goofy.
I mean, there was something that looked even jankier, which is when they, so they finish the fight, blah, blah, blah. They get into Mount Olympus, and the gods are, like, massive in comparison, but they're so awkwardly, like, rotoed in. Like,
yeah.
whenever
it's showing, like, small Percy Jackson, and he just doesn't look right.
No, nothing looks right. But he talks to God, he talks to Zeus, and he's like, here, have your fucking lightning bolt back. I
didn't steal it in the first place.
Yeah.
This other guy did.
Which,
I guess it's my problem now.
Luke, to be fair, Luke has a very good reason for stealing it and wanting the gods to fight each other. He has a very, very good reason.
He wants he's anti-establishment.
Yeah, he's get rid of the old gods so, like, new people can have a go. And it's like, yeah, fair enough.
It's not just that, though. He's like, we're the gods' children, and they never do anything for us.
Yeah.
They just, like, we exist purely because they wanted to bang someone.
There's this other thing is, like, because Poseidon was, like, dead keen on his kid, Zeus, and he, like, neglected his godly duties, Zeus banned all gods from spending any time with their kids.
Yeah.
Which is just a bit like, okay.
That was just Zeus's way of getting out of,
that was like Zeus being like, I don't want custody.
The equivalent of Boris Johnson saying you can't see people at Christmas because he didn't want to see all of the kids he's had.
But yeah,
Zeus, and again, that's just like, but it would have been cool to find out more about Luke before that moment.
Not allowed to. This film has to be made.
He's in the camp at the beginning, and then that's it. But it's literally just, it's a popular YA novel. Let's make a movie out of it because Harry Potter's just ended, and we need the next big thing.
Nothing can slow, and we'll put Logan Lerman in because he's kind of hot, like young guy. They wanted him to be the next big like heartthrob, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Again, I'm glad they kind of stopped doing that.
Did they?
Yeah, it's not as obvious. They're not like making films.
Tom Holland?
I think Tom Holland's different though, because it's not like this Percy Jackson where it's a kind of standalone franchise on its own.
Wait, you're not allowed to have that anymore.
No, that's also true. But like there was no issue. Tom Holland was always going to be a heartthrob or like whatever he is.
And Timothy Chalamet?
Spider-Man. Timothy Chalamet was in like he got famous because an indie film he did got big, not because like he was put in a big film, like a mainstream film to be a heartthrob. He was in a load of indie films and people liked him.
Okay.
But yeah, no, there was no way Tom Holland wasn't going to become popular. He's an awkward British teen guy
and he's so
plays
handsome.
Spider-Man, and he's so handsome, and he can do a backflip. He seems like a cool guy.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Tom Holland. I was just saying that I think we still have heartthrobs of the moment shoved down our throats.
We do, but they don't. Yeah. They're not like desperately trying to make them.
When did Twilight come out?
I think that was
9.
Yeah, that was around this time.
2008. So yeah, it is really So this is we had Stormbreaker in 2006, then Twilight, and then this.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were really pushing the like.
That's
teen heartthrob front cover of Ms. magazine kind of
pump out heartthrobs.
Yeah. Oh, and then there's they get Grover out.
Oh yeah, they get Grover.
Yeah, he's like Zeus, can you get Grover out? And he's like, fine, I guess.
And then Grover's probably so annoyed because he was having the best time fucking Persephone all the time.
Yeah, he's finally got a use for his permanent boner.
Yeah, but then he comes back and he's like, look, I've got my horns, and it's like, well, yes, so. Yeah, and then Percy and Annabeth have a little fight, and she like pretends to go to kiss him, and then just attacks him instead. She's like,
film ends.
Distract people.
Yeah.
And then it ends, but then there's a post-credit scene or a mid-credit scene of the shitty stepdad has been kicked out, and then he tries to get a beer from the fridge, but the Medusa head's in there, and so he turns to stone.
It's always terrifying when you open the fridge door and Uma Thurman's looking at you.
Yeah, with snakes for hair,
With
and then there's nothing, so
And
it's
you
fine.
turn to stone. And they killed that guy.
Yeah.
How do they explain that to
so-
the authorities?
The
How
guy that
many
did nothing but protect him.
statued stepdads out of 10?
Yeah.
Ugh.
But,
I'm gonna give it 3 pearls / seconds you get to absorb any information in this movie out of 10. I don't want to watch this film again. I don't know why I'm giving it 3. 2. Yeah, 2. Ugh, don't bother. There's a reason they didn't make another one.
They did make another
They
one.
did.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason
Yeah,
no
Yeah,
one.
there's the one.
No,
Yeah,
the second one
there's-
is worse.
Oh god. Okay.
Yeah, I've not even seen the second one.
Yeah, I believe
Percy
you.
Jackson and
But-
the Ocean Water. I forgot what it's called.
The Sea of Monsters. Yeah.
Man,
But
that's-
yeah,
Percy
like-
Jackson in the Shape of Water. It takes a weird turn.
Yeah.
They got a new director in. I think I'll go with 3 for me. 3 weird, high quality actors acting terribly. 3 Uma Thurmans. Fucking destroying the scenery. Out of 10. It was fun. It was a bit fun. It was
Yeah, that
alright.
makes sense. Like,
One scene was good.
like I had a nice, alright time with this. I'd probably give this 4 iPod reflections out of 10.
Yeah,
This
4
film-
product placements.
This film
Yeah.
is easy to watch because it's
No,
Yeah.
so
oh, I totally disagree. I found it deeply uncomfortable and I watched it so reluctantly. It just
Ah.
pissed me off at like every moment.
I think
I mean,
'cause
I will say that the film I watched the day before this was I went to the cinema and watched Talk to Me, which is that new horror film.
So you were just
in
glad about anything that
comparison-
didn't scare the shit out of you.
Yeah, in comparison, this was quite a nice light watch.
Yeah. He's Logan Lerman's in the Perks of Being a Wallflower as well.
yeah.
Logan Lerman's
yeah.
quite a good actor
He's
when he's
also
given a good
in-
script.
He's in the Butterfly Effect as well, which at some point we might do on here because that was one that I watched a lot as a teenager.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it, so yeah.
It's I get the feeling that it's going to be one where you're like, Dan, what the fuck?
I think
Yeah,
I've
I know
seen-
of it, so
yeah,
That's the
yeah, I
Ashton
agree.
Kutcher one, isn't it?
yeah.
I think I've seen
Yeah.
like a scene or 2 out of it.
Yeah, I think Logan Lerman plays like the kid version of
Yeah.
Ashton Kutcher. Anyway,
He's
this
a good actor. Logan Lerman's a good actor.
yeah,
He just
he's
never
not bad. It's just
Did
the characters in this. It's the equivalent of Bella Swan in Twilight. Like
Yeah.
Kristen Stewart did a great job of playing a shit character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she can act.
She can.
yeah.
Yeah, she really
But
can.
no one can be a convincing Bella Swan.
It's
No.
because the character's written fucking terribly.
Anyway,
Yeah. Just gonna complain about
Yeah.
Twilight.
I think this episode's gone on long enough, so I've been down.
I've been Michael.
And I've been Helena.
And I had a great time talking about what history we enjoyed with you guys.
Yeah.
You can find this podcast on social media at Hilton Pod. That's at HILTM Pod. We're on Discord as well if you want to come and tell us, were you a dinosaur kid, an Egypt kid, or a Greek kid, or the mystery 4th child?
Princess.
Um,
Princess kid.
Space kid.
Princess
Trucks.
Kid.
Trucks and diggers.
Yeah,
Yes.
Trucks and Digger kids, yeah. BMX kid, which is the male
Wheels.
equivalent of Horse Girl. Yeah.
Skateboard kid.
Tech Dex kid. Anyway, so we also have a Patreon where you can support the show. We've got like bonus episodes, you can get shout outs, things like that. What special thing are we doing for the Patreon? And luckily we don't have to use our money to remake this because there is a Netflix show coming out quite soon.
So we are going to use the Patreon money to
Fuck a god.
find and watch the movie. To do what?
Fuck a god.
Don't need Patreon money to do that. They're up for
Maybe
it.
you don't.
No, we're gonna use the Patreon money to find and watch the Horrible Histories movie, Rotten Romans the movie.
With
Starring
Kate Nash.
starring Kate Nash as Boudica. That's what we're gonna
Maybe
do.
we should actually do that as a bonus episode just to see what it's like.
It's a weird one.
Sounds perfect.
Um,
Sounds ideal. Sounds easier than fucking a god. Sorry, is this coming through on your mic?
What?
People just speeding past my house.
No.
If it comes up on the recording, yeah, that's what that is. But
I can always just silence your bits though.
I was, to be fair, earlier I was like, I probably need to shut the window because of sirens. As a siren went
that's
past,
fine.
but then I was like, oh, we've had our siren for tonight. So